Hi fellow crocheters, Janet with BDD Patterns here. Today I'm going to show you how to up your crochet bag game with the easiest way to crochet a beautiful tube handle with tabs. Let's get started. Go ahead, and if you want to make it with your Maker Home Deck yarn, which I use this a lot for purses, for bags, it's just like the perfect yarn. It works out pretty good, and the only thing that I do change is it recommends an 8mm, or that's an L hook. I don't know how to say this other than nicely, but I'm not going to use an L hook for this yarn. First of all, I don't feel that it really has that weight. But secondly, when I'm making a bag, I want it to have a certain amount of stiffness. So with this yarn, I like to use a 6mm. I'm just going to demonstrate over a short strap so that you guys get it. I use this for my Detroiter bag, which is my newest bag pattern release. And I wanted to make the video using this yarn instead of the black yarn because you just can't see with the black yarn. The first thing that you want to do when you start making a strap like this is you want to lead with enough yarn to sew the strap on. So however big your tab's going to be, you're going to just lead, and I've got here right about 15 inches. So that's what I need for my size tab. Then just make your slip knot and then simply chain. I'm going to demonstrate this with 30, but chain the length of the strap that you want. Again, I want to work over 30 stitches, so I'm going to chain 31, and we'll meet back here when you're done with your first chain. Yeah, this would be a mighty short strap, but that's okay. Again, I'm just demonstrating the technique here. So the first thing you need to know how to do is to find the back bar or the back bump. Some people call it a bump, I call it a back bar. Here's what your chain stitch looks like from the front, and here's what it looks like from the back. Now let's look at it from the side. You see that right there? That's your back bump or your back bar right there. And the easiest way to find it is to turn it to the side like I'm demonstrating right here. So this stitch, we're not going to deal with that. That's our turning chain. So we're just going to be single crocheting for this project. Of course, the first stitch is always the funnest. In fact, the first row, it's just fun. But all you're going to do is you're going to single crochet into that back bump or bar. And you're going to do that into all stitches. In my case, I'll be working across again 30. So you're just going to single crochet right into that bump. And I always make my chain and this first row just a little looser. Not a lot. You don't want it to look sloppy, but there's a reason for that, because when we get going, we're going to be pulling the tension just a little bit tighter. And if you pull it too tight on this first row, it's just going to go wonky. So see how it's going pretty straight here? Now, the reason that we're doing this is, of course, you know what the top looks like, the row that you're working on. You can see that right there. There's your V's. And normally, if we were just going to single crochet, we'd just single crochet right into there. And that's what we're going to be doing. But see the bottom? This way, you've got the same V's. So whatever you're doing, if you want to connect something, it's super, super, super easy to connect it with this technique. Plus, I think everybody should do this, unless there's some cases I know, like if you're going to make like a lace pattern or something like that where you don't want to do this. But for the most part, if you do this on every project, then if you've got to add something to the bottom, you'll never, ever, ever have a problem with it again. All right, I'm going to finish up my row here and I'll meet back. All right, I've completed my first row, as you can see, and yep, we've got our perfect stitches on both sides. So the next decision that you're going to want to make is how wide do you want your tube? And make sure that you don't crochet with the tail. But that is important. So I am going to demonstrate this with 5 rows because that's what I want. You can make a thicker tube for your strap if you want, or a thinner one. It's really entirely up to you. But the amount of rows, just know that even though you've got 5, you should play around with this a little bit just to see. I would just go ahead and make, like, I don't know, 10 stitches or something like that, and then just go back and forth and get you know, try it out with different amounts of rows until you get the thickness of your strap that you want. All right, so at the end of the row, it's really simple, guys. All you're going to do is single crochet just like normal into each stitch. That's right, just single crochet. And that's all that there is for this. It's just such a cool way to make a tube, I think. I was learning how, when I learned how to do those I-cords and that, I was just like, are you kidding me right now? Like, or just even, I'm sorry, but like crocheting in the round with like that many stitches, just going around like that. It's like, I know there are people that do amigurumi every day, and God bless, because I can't stand working on small things. I'm a big person. I like to do big things. So for me to sit there and try to go around 5 stitches in a, you know, a little tube, it's just like, I'm sure you can tell by the tone in my voice that it just makes me absolutely stressed out. So all you're going to want to do here, guys, is just do single crochet into each stitch across. And I'm just demonstrating the first row, not that anybody probably needs to know how to single crochet, but I want to show you that you can be like tightening up. Now don't go so tight. I can't stand it when I see people that send, I can't meet the gauge, and you look at their stitches and you're like, God almighty, you're like murdering the yarn because your stitches are so stinking tight. So don't do that, but just give it maybe just a slight bit of a tighter tension than you normally would, because again, you don't want this thing to like stretch out so much that your strap ends up being like 3 inches longer than what you intended. So just give it, like, control your tension and maybe just slightly tighter than you normally would. Now, if you're a tight crocheter, nothing wrong with that. You know it, and you need to adjust accordingly. So maybe you don't have to do this. But for those of us that aren't tight crocheters, this is something that you want to consider when you're making a strap. Again, we're just trying to get this, you know, as neat and tight as we possibly can. And in order to do that, you do need to increase your tension just a little bit. All right, here we are at the end of the row. And as you can see, again, we've got both sides, and that's important, but this is just a single crochet. All right, I'm going to work across 5 rows to start with. So you make your strap however wide you want, and we'll meet back here when I get my 5 rows on. All right, are you ready for the fun part? You've got your rows, or the width of your strap that you want. Now, this is a fine strap right here. Sometimes a flat strap is just what's needed, but to me, this is, I don't know, it's kind of pedestrian. So let's just elevate our purse straps by making those beautiful leather straps that we see with the tabs and the snap on the tab. I'm not going to make the snap, I'm just going to sew mine on, but I'm going to show you how easy this is to do. All right, I need my tab to be 5 stitches. So I'm just doing 5 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, all right. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to fold my strap in half. Just this simple. Okay. Right, the first thing you got to do is make sure that you exactly have those stitches lined up, because you don't want to like miscount your stitches on the back side of the strap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I'm going to join into my 6th stitch, and I'm simply going to do a slip stitch. Now, this is where you can see how handy this whole thing comes in. And you're just going to slip stitch the first and the last row together. Now, when you're slip stitching, guys, again, this one you don't want to tighten your tension. This part you don't want to tighten your tension, because it's just going to pull and make a mess. Now see what we're doing here? Isn't it awesome? We have a tab and we have a tube. We have a tab tube. So I'm just going to finish this up, show you what to do at the end. So I'm just going to slip stitch here, all my stitches together. And again, this is just ridiculous how easy this is. Just do yourself a favor and see what I'm talking about. Go look up how to do an I-cord if you didn't know how to do it. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And this is the same look with so much less fuss, in my opinion, anyway. So I can go through 2. And do make sure that you're going through both stitches. So you should have this loop, and then 2 loops from each stitch. So that's a total of 5 there on your book. And you're just slip stitching. That's it. Now as we get toward the end, what we're going to want to do is we're going to not want to slip stitch those last 5 stitches together, because that's our other tab. If you hear a sign, that's not me, that's my dog. She's a faithful little Frenchie, and she's always with me when I work, so she's here. I'll show you guys when we're almost done how cute my dog is. She's adorable. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 3 more to go. All right, just sorry this part is boring, but like I said, I wanted to show you what to do at the end, because that's important. Might be there. Alrighty. Okay. So I have a tab here of 5 stitches, and I have a tab here of 5 stitches. My strap crochet part is almost complete. All right, there's an easy way to fasten off so that you can join your tabs right to the body of your purse. And all you have to do is just go ahead and get the same length of a tail, and then you cut off the yarn just like you normally would. Then go ahead and pull that through, secure it. All right. So either way, depending on how you want, where you want to start attaching. Now, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to show you that it's really good to just finger press this if you want. Otherwise, it will twist a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. Let's see, just finger press it out so that it is flat. And I'll show you the other side. Here's where you slip stitched. But again, that's on the inside of the handle, so really nobody can see that. But even if they could, it doesn't look bad at all. All right, so down here you have your tail, and that's going to be where you're going to sew around through here and then back to this. And that's how you secure your tab to the body of your purse. Up here, you're a little different. You've got your tail here. So there's a couple things you can do. I just start mine up here. It doesn't bother me where the tail's at. But I do want to show you something that's going to make your life easier with that, and these are my favorite tools. First of all, a bent yarn needle, please. I'm not even going to get into why that's an essential. But this thing right here is my little yarn needle threader, and I just absolutely love this. I wouldn't know what to do without it. I'm going to put a link into this description below. This way, it's totally easy to thread your yarn, especially these a little bit thicker yarns than this. Now, either again, you could just start it like right here when you start sewing, just go ahead and go into your stitches and go all the way around. Or if you're not comfortable with that, if you want to start it at the same level, just go ahead and just weave it into the stitches, and then that way the tail will be pretty much in the same position where the other one is. It doesn't really matter one way or another. And then what I do when I close this out is I do mine, like I said, I start up here and I end up here, so it is really easy just to pull your yarn through the back of that to hide the tail, pull it a little bit, and then snip it off, and you're good to go. I hope that this tutorial helped you. I know it helped me tremendously. I'm going to be putting up a lot more bags, so we're going to be using this tutorial for straps a lot more. God bless. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.